I feel like that was more abrupt than I was prepared for.
You weren't prepared for the abruptness?
I feel like our engineer and production department, aka Studio B, was a little abrupt on the intro. Would you like some honeycombs? We're on the Honeycomb Hideout.
Yeah. Don't mind if I do. Thank
Do
you.
you guys remember the old mascot for fucking Honeycomb?
What was that?
Oh my god, it was the weirdest looking thing. It was basically Cousin It with like bulging eyeballs.
Were they honeycomb eyeballs?
No, they were like
Oh, I don't remember that.
they were like googly eyes.
Well, I don't think they could have done the bee because
Why?
it was trademarked by Cheerios.
What if they had a different bee?
Nah, man, you can only do one animal per cereal company.
That's too much.
No, I don't know. They should have did wasps,
Right?
Like sepsis. The hex, baby. The hexagon. Welcome to the Honeycomb Hideout podcast. And we do it usually at 7 o'clock. And I realized that we were 20 minutes earlier today than we were last week. And it's still midweek and hump day.
Wednesday, let us.
Mm-hmm. And so I know the title is kind of scary because for anybody that's over 25, they're not going to like what I have to say. But TikTok is the new music industry.
No.
It's the end of culture.
No.
Culture's over, everybody. We
No.
lost.
No. I
It's-
abort mission.
You can't. It's your generation that's really the guiding force.
Thanks, Lexi.
I'm not a part of it. I didn't sign off for TikTok.
All right, I forgive you.
Okay,
Well-
yay.
I know a lot of people don't like TikTok. I've got to say I'm not super excited about it. Put a 1 in the chat if you like TikTok. You know, so I'll talk to people my age, a little younger, a little older. Mm-hmm. I'll talk to people in my peer group, and we will start talking. You guys know who you are. And they will admit to me that they've been participating and or like TikTok. And here's the thing that's really fucked up. I think they think that I'm going to be able to mirror that private personality and bad characteristic. No.
No.
In fact, I don't even like short form video. And I know that social media has changed to mostly short form video via, and for example, like Vine.
See, I actually liked Vine.
But that's where it really started for me. Like short form video. I remember Vine.
Yeah, but Vine wasn't like TikTok was, where it's mostly just underage girls dancing half naked to stupid songs. That's mostly TikTok.
That's mostly the internet.
Yeah, but TikTok really mainstreamed the trend.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Really
They made it
popular.
basically acceptable to like watch that crap.
I think that it's more acceptable for certain kinds of people. And you know what I mean? They're it's like vinyl. I think there goes Lexi's horns.
Oh, nice horn.
Thank you.
So, quite literally,
Hey, it's better than losing the wings, you know?
or losing your mind.
True.
I lost mine a long time ago.
So no, but TikTok really is not just the new music industry. We're being literal in the title. TikTok really is the new music industry.
What? How?
Well, TikTok has partnered with Billboard
Get
Why?
out.
because Billboard is doing what it's always done. Well, most people don't know this, but like Billboard is a pamphlet company.
A pamphlet.
Yes, like a flyer company. Originally Billboard, the Billboard charts
Yeah.
was literally a chart in the back of a magazine. So when and Lexi will tell you in a minute, we'll talk about the history of Billboard, because most people don't even know where the Grammys came from or where Billboard comes from. How does something become something? Who owns? How does the Bible get printed? Surely it's got to get published, and it does. The Bible's published. You know, there is a UPC code.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in terms of Billboard started off. The Billboard charts started off as it was a weekly insert in the back of magazines where you could look up the top selling sheet music.
Oh.
A lot of people don't know that.
This is news to me.
Yes, and later on, the Billboard charts also added in, because of course jukeboxes and radio started to become popular.
So that's where I thought they started from.
So when jukeboxes and radio became all the craze, just like the back of a magazine or an insert, or a chat room or social media today,
Right.
Or TikTok. I mean, people don't think about it, but when we used to write on temple walls, that was technology.
Right.
It's history, but it's ancient history, but it is history nonetheless, and it's technology nonetheless. People just of today don't think of chiseling a stone tablet, and they don't think of that as technology.
Right. But it is by definition.
Yes, boats are technology.
Right.
A kayak and a canoe at one point was cutting edge technology.
I mean, shit, the cart was technology at one point. Just
Chariots.
Yeah.
Pigeon couriers. Were all top of the line technology. I mean, we look at technology today and we think like Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. But at one point, we've talked about it a lot on this program, like the typewriter or the telegraph or the megaphone or the, all of these were at one point or another, AM radio, FM radio. At one point, these were all considered, cutting edge technology. So it's hard to believe, but magazines and newspapers, not too long ago, only a couple 100 years ago, flyers, magazines, and newspapers were as cutting edge technology as AI.
I mean, the first computers were actually humans.
Imagine that. So in terms of Billboard charts, the Billboard charts has always, because people go, oh my God, what do you mean the billboards are partnering with TikTok? It's not so much TikTok, but the Billboard chart systems understand where there's a high concentration of young people discovering music and buying music. Shopping. A concentrated audience that you can measure. And true of billboards honing in on technology of the time to calculate who belongs on the Billboard charts.
And they're using TikTok because that's where literally everybody is.
So because there's so many people on TikTok, Billboards has now considered TikTok, much like other parts of the world. I say billboards just to get you guys all wound up. But it's more than that. You can shop on TikTok. You can.
You can?
Yeah. You can shop on TikTok. Yeah. You can get clothes. You can get all kinds of stuff on TikTok.
You're not aware of this because you're over 25.
Right.
But people search for the news on TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah. They also search on TikTok for languages, like just how to speak foreign languages.
So I'm talking about billboards because it pertains to us as a band here and stuff like that. But there's a greater lesson to be learned here, is that not only is TikTok powerful in music, it's also powerful in the institution. TikTok's a search engine now, man. Hey, people buy clothes. What's the company? Temu.
Temu.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
Temu. Which is like Wish, but it actually works.
So, I mean,
check this out.
and the rise in popularity of that is from people searching and shopping on TikTok. This is gonna really freak you out, Melissa. The biggest amount of royalties that we make as a band comes from TikTok.
What? Get out of here! What?
We are almost invisible on this fucking site, but in accumulation per acquisition, TikTok is so powerful. I'll show you my royalty statements. I ain't even lying.
From TikTok.
No.
Now, do they pay
TikTok.
well?
Well, so I have a thing with TikTok. Okay, I won't sign a contract.
You won't sign the contract.
I won't accept the money.
Why?
I don't want it.
You don't want their BS money?
I'll tell you off air, but I don't. I don't want to do accounting with them. It's not so much whether I accept the royalties or not. I don't want to do accounting with ByteDance.
Because it's a scam.
Well, I have my accounting reasons, but you know what I mean. It's bad enough that musicians don't get paid what they should, as it is. Yes. Okay. So, I just saw her face, and I was just, So yeah, TikTok is the new music industry. So the music industry is kind of like the Easter Bunny. I want you all to think about the music industry kind of like the Easter Bunny. And when people get old enough, you have to come clean and tell them that it's not real.
Wait, what do you mean the Easter Bunny's not real?
So like,
I have a
when
picture of the
everybody's
Easter
kid,
Bunny.
like when everybody's kids, you tell everybody about the music industry and how we're all going to get there, and it's all going to, there's going to be a party. It's like the Easter Bunny. You know what I mean? Everybody knows it's kind of bullshit, but everyone's just waiting, like, basically before puberty, before you're allowed to leave the house and date and have responsibilities and drive vehicles. People come to you and they go, "Excuse me, man, I hate to pop your fucking bubble, but the Easter Bunny isn't real." And then you go, "I know that. I knew it the whole time. It was a game. We role played. I get it." And everybody kind of, your mom goes, "Hey, I hate to break it to you. I'm the tooth fairy." And there's about 10 seconds of disappointment before you realize, I love my mother. The real world is here. You get one set of teeth. What's up?
Well, I never had to learn that because my mom's a dental hygienist, so she literally was the tooth fairy for us.
Yo, shout out to Mom.
Yeah.
Standing O for that.
Thanks, Mom.
And awesome. This is why Zach wasn't allowed to have Cadbury eggs and jelly beans.
Actually, I had both those things.
He's got teeth like a shark. He just keeps replacing them.
No, I just have a lot of cavities that I didn't have to pay for, or the fillings I didn't have to pay for because my mommy was able to fix them for free.
See? If only my mom was a defense lawyer.
Right?
So, I want to just read this article, but the music industry is like an Easter Bunny. And when people get old, you're going to have to come clean and tell them that it's not real. Recordings by definition are samples of synthetic reproductions and presentations that otherwise mimic real-life human beings that have the ability to reproduce a live experience over and over again without the need of artificial forces. There's something for you guys to chew on for a while.
Without the need of artificial forces?
Correct. Rewind it later on.
Okay.
It's just for everybody.
But yet,
TikTok? Yes.
But yet we're having artificial forces in it?
Oh, I'm just reading. Oh. I mean, people can dissect the English. That's what this program is for. People can write down notes and look stuff up on their own. This program is not like a fact-based program or something like that. I hope everything on here is a proverbial itch that you can't scratch, and it encourages you to go off and find your own truths. You know, we kind of read a lot of articles here, and then I'll tell you what the program is. This program is all about, during the week, we all read about the music industry, technology, social media, the law, and accounting. Okay? And the occasional, it's like superstorm or some weird wacky thing or orgy or something. But we pretty much get all these things together, and throughout the week, most of you may or may not know, but information travels at like fucking light speed, okay? So to learn about the music industry is to learn about technology, accounting, and economy. To learn about the music industry is to learn about how the internet behaves, because the modern day music industry, or what's left of it, is on the fucking internet. All of it. The booking, the merchandising, all of it, the managers and the labels and the go-betweens and the middlemen have all been replaced by applications and gadgets. And when we talk about TikTok becoming the music industry, we're not really talking about social media. We're talking about the way of the gadget. So what this program is, what this podcast is about, it's about gathering information that is evolving day after day, night after night. To understand what Sepsis does and understand how we operate is to understand how the internet operates. And this is where bands stop operating. It's because we read something in the 80s, or we watched a film in the 90s, or we learned something in 2000, and we think we understand the music industry. But the music industry, or what's left of it, is on the fucking internet. And the internet is evolving every fucking day. So while everybody's playing Rockstar, we're fucking on this shit.
Doing our homework.
Right. So when people go, I don't like what you guys have to say, my response is, please do your homework. This isn't an opinion-based place. It's not a fact-based place. So if we are correct, if we're collecting articles throughout the week and we simplify them, we pull out the main points, and we present them here on the program. And then it's up to you at that point to go off and further your personal enrichment. And the reason why we do that on this program is because we are not a band that's trying to get into what is referred to as a music industry. We are in the technology industry. We are in the advertising industry. Music is something we do for fun. Because music, the way of the music industry, and to access the tools of the music industry, you have to be on the fucking internet. Because that's where your bank account is. That's where your identification is. And that's where your fucking music is. So instead of being in a rock and roll band and learning about the rock and roll industry, or learning about the music industry, before we even consider doing that, we take a look at the money industry, and the law industry, and the technology industry. And then we can start to get into the discussion about the music industry. So a lot of the musical debates that we have here are not musical opinions, because they have to deal normally with the discussion and conversation around technology and an evolving technology and an evolving industry that years ago the music industry had to evolve over weeks and months and years. But now the music industry evolves over weeks. And that's why we come on every single week to talk about technology in the music business. Because in order to do what we're doing here, you'd have to relinquish yourself of the middlemen. You'd have to relinquish the managers, and you'd have to do your own homework. And I know that's difficult for musicians because musicians don't like to do their own work.
Yeah.
TikTok is looking to further solidify its connection with the music industry. A new partnership with Billboard on an official TikTok Top 50 chart.
They're doing a TikTok Top 50.
So it's only top 50 of like what's on TikTok or just like in general?
The TikTok Billboard Top 50 chart is the official chart in the U.S. to monitor music discovery and engagement on the TikTok platform. It is the verified list of the hottest songs on TikTok each week, giving the most accurate record of the current music trends happening in the U.S. market. The chart is based on a combination of creations of video views, user engagement. The U.S. TikTok community will be released weekly on Thursdays.
So it's just the United States that's being calculated for this top chart, not UK.
Yeah,
Just
it goes
United
on
States.
to say, I don't know, there might be more here.
Oh, okay.
Let me check it out. TikTok has fast become an essential consideration for record labels and artists. Due to its capacity to spark high-volume music trends, it can quickly attract the essential hit of the moment. I want to point out that heavy metal is virtually, it's almost invisible on this site, by the way. So if you're...
Figures.
Well, yeah, I mean, kids under 25 don't listen to heavy metal like that. They just don't. It's just not popular on those platforms. No more is independent metal popular on AM radio. I mean, you're just not going to see... It doesn't matter how good Ava Under Fire is. She's not going to be on MTV.
Riveting.
You feel what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what chart she's on. It doesn't matter how good these guys
I
get.
just find it interesting that metal isn't popular on TikTok.
I don't, because there's only so many people that can be on TikTok. There's only so many people that can be famous on Spotify.
Right. That's true.
Not everyone can be famous on Spotify.
Yeah.
Because Spotify is an acquisitional website. It needs to acquire lots and lots of royalties to pay its most popular artists.
Right.
They can't pay... not everybody can be Drake.
Right.
Because you'd have to pay them.
Right.
You're getting into this whole... Someone's got to get paid. Oh, Lord.
It's usually the CEOs.
Every time we talk about Drake now, I just think of his new album.
But the bottom line is acquisitionally, okay, much like the rest of large corporations, when you go into a grocery store, I'm talking to a gentleman this morning, a good friend of mine, he's a guitar player, blues guitar player, he called me this morning for some advice. And he was talking about his life in a grocery store. And he's been trying his whole life to become a butcher. And the conversation started off for me giving him advice about the music industry. After I explained to him I had no desire to be a part of some industry, and that taking advice from me would mean being independent. And by all means, there is no pathway of independence that leads to an industry. There is no pathway. When you wonder why industry artists never break away, is because there is no pathway through the industry that unlocks independent tools. it takes you your whole life to hone independent tools. It takes your whole life to hone professional tools. It takes your whole life to hone industry tools, to hone industry relationships. So you can't hone independent skill sets and hope that they're going to work in the industry. You can't hone industry corporate behaviors and think they're going to work in the street.
Right.
You can't put a badge on and then go deal drugs. It ain't, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not gonna. They're not gonna trust you.
It doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't hone all these skills in the streets and then try to go into the courtroom and make an argument.
It's not gonna work.
It's not gonna play off.
Right.
They're two different skill sets. Yeah, man, I had an original point about that. But in terms of, you know, you were talking about where people are that like rock and roll. I hate to, you know, I don't want to pop anybody's bubble. People don't listen to independent rock and roll. Nobody does. So when people are like, they're surprised that artists aren't on TikTok. I'm not. Don't be surprised about it. People don't listen to rock and roll.
That's true.
And you could, people are going to become emotional about that and feel a certain way about it. But
it's still true. It's a fact.
Right. I mean, they just don't do, which is why people pay for views, which is why people pay for playlisting.
Yeah. That's why it's popular.
That's why it's so popular to inflate numbers. That's why the apps that allow you to cheat, that's why they're so popular with rock acts.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
True, but
wow.
Just
but
take
yeah.
a look at it.
Definitely, yeah.
It is what it is. I could get hit by a bus. It's not going to change.
Right.
Anyhow. According to a study published by the MRC, 75% of TikTok users were using the app to discover new artists, while 63% indicated that they hear music that they've never heard before. So TikTok is responsible for something that Spotify really isn't, and that's discovery. And when you're a child...
That's where they beat them!
Hold on. And when you're a child forming your identity, you can make a friend for a lifetime.
On TikTok.
You're securing a client base forever.
Huh.
What?
The same way... Right. That's why you hear guys in their 40s still go, man, I wish there was MySpace. Because... and if there was one, they'd sign up. Because it's recognizable. They're making a lasting relationship with these kids forever because these kids don't have to go anywhere else for news, shopping, music, discovery, friends, attention.
They can express themselves.
Fucking billboards. You can chart over there and shit. You can start, you know, if you're 14 years old, you can start a business over there.
It all makes sense now.
Oh, absolutely. TikTok accelerates your privileges as an adolescent and accelerates your abilities to become an adult. And guess what? The adults aren't even there to monitor it. It's completely a place unattractive to anybody that's responsible enough.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Anyways, that's that. There was some other interesting factoids I had out of that, but I just got wrapped up in TikTok. It doesn't freeze your fucking brain. It really will.
Boy.
But it is the gadget. It's the way of the gadget. And I'm gonna have Lexi just talk about the history of Billboard real quick. But think of it this way: inventors of inventions are people that need to convince the general public that they need one thing or another. You hear what I just said? That's all an inventor is. A really good salesman that has to go to the general public and be like, you know what? We need nuclear bombs. There's a big inventor. I invented the internet. You know what we need? We need a place where fucking kids and adults hang out with each other in private play spaces and talk about bombs. Doesn't that sound like a good idea?
No.
But somebody we have the internet. Somebody has to come into your life and go, hey, you know what? Let's take the whole planet and turn it into a petroleum-infused ball of fucking tar and oil, huh? And then we'll drive all over it and suffocate the animals. That was a big invention at one time. You know, we're going to invent
the automobile.
You know, but these are. We're going to do TikTok.
He said it just like those stereotypical like history movies.
But you know what I'm saying? But that's what an inventor is. An inventor is somebody come in your life, go, what? You know what we need? We need a bomb that can blow apart a continent, huh? Isn't that a good idea? And you got to convince everybody, I'm an inventor. This is going to... You know what we need? We need autonomous robots that think for themselves and draw pictures of Donald Trump. We need autonomous robots that descend on you like Skynet and play Drake.
No, don't play Drake.
We need autonomous robots to crawl up the president's ass and shoot off flares. When are we gonna... I'm on no side. Lexi, please give us the history of the Billboard.
The first chart was published by Billboard. It was called the last week's 10 bestsellers among the popular songs, and it was a list of the best-selling sheet music back in July 1913.
That's when Nancy Pelosi was born.
Other early charts listed popular song performances in theaters and recitals in different cities. In 1928, popular numbers featured by famous singers and leaders appeared, which added in radio performances to in-person performances. Sorry,
that was a long time ago.
Definitely.
Want me to take it from here?
It's okay. I just need a second. My eye's burning. Okay. On July 4th, 1936, Billboard magazine published its first pop chart based on record sales.
I think that's important. Billboard is based on record sales, not talent.
Sales.
Not popularity.
Sales.
Sales. Can you read that again? Because I don't know if I don't think anybody in rock and roll has even considered that.
Here we go. On January 4th, 1936, Billboard magazine published its first pop chart based on record sales.
Okay. But how does a person make sales?
Well, I think the industry on this one cheated because it didn't go by sales of Lexi going into the record store and buying an album. It's how many units did that store buy, and that's what counts. Doesn't matter.
I was just about to get into this. I'm so glad that Zach pointed this out, guys, because when you say that something's popular, who are we asking? TikTok?
No, you're asking economics.
But if I only decide to ask a limited group of people, those are the only people that I'm deciding to measure.
You're only going to get limited results.
Right. So if you've got a radio station and you got a radio station and we both have a deal, I'll consider whatever you have as your top artists. But what I'm saying is, how do people make sales? How do you hear about the McNugget? How do you hear about
advertising?
But wasn't Billboard an advertising company?
Yes. They invented the billboard.
Oh.
Billboard.
So an advertising company got to pick the people that were on the chart?
Yeah.
That sounds like an advertisement.
It is.
All right, keep going. You buy advertisements, right?
Right.
So advertisements are bought.
They're bought.
Yeah. You pay for ad space.
Let that sink in.
So the Billboard charts were a pamphlet company, and in the back of the pamphlet, they had an advertisement based on the gadgets that hosted the music. Read on.
This was titled 10 Best Records for Week Ending. It listed the top 10 best-selling records of 3 landing record companies as reported by the companies themselves.
Okay. She just said it. Billboard would ask 3, not 10. Billboard would only ask 3 companies who were their top artists. And these companies would then say to them, with the power of human honest word, they would say to them who their most important artists were and who Billboard should focus on. So an advertising company asks a record label who's important to the label, and then the label gives up a list of names to Billboard, and then they wind up in this advertisement. Continue.
In March 1937, the songs with the most radio plugs charted, debuted with data from a separate company. In October 1938, a review list, the week's best records, was retitled the Billboard Record Buying Guide by incorporating airplay and sheet music sales.
Whoa! That sounds like suggesting on Spotify. They had a guide and an advertisement that told you which artists were better than the others?
As a guide, yes.
So the record company would give the billboards a list of artists that they should be advertising that they would then use to tell consumers what was good music?
Yes.
Read on.
Same thing with radio. In July 27, 1940 issue, the first Billboard Music Popularity Chart was published for week ending July 20th, with a separate listings covering retail sales, sheet music sales, jukebox song selection, and radio
Whoa!
airplay.
So everything that isn't nailed down. So Billboard goes to radio companies and gadget companies, TikToks and phones, satellites, and it... Hold on, let's get this right. This is the same acquisition that Spotify has.
Precisely.
This is the same record. We're living in the same record industry that we were in the 1940s?
Correct. Correct.
Weird.
Yeah.
So, Billboard looks for the most popular gadgets.
Where people are getting the music.
They make an advertising deal with the owners of the gadgets.
Yes.
And then they say, give us a list of your most popular artists on the gadget.
Yes.
And then Billboard rewards them
with the advertisement. And they list them from 1 to 10, or now 1 to 100.
Because the only artist that I know, and I'm not going to give up their names because they're friends of mine, the only artists that I know that chart on billboards are open with me. They purchase it.
It is advertisement space.
But when we talk about it at this level, this is the level that this podcast is made for. This is the level where it's not word of mouth. We can all peel back the layers of this. We can all, whether you're in the music industry or you're a fan of music, or you're an aspiring artist yourself, the conversations that we bring up on this program are designed to do what you just saw there. It's to take it away from rumors and the telephone game and word of mouth and provide information that whether you like it or not, you can look at it and we can all, in a transparent and neutral way, we can all peel this back and examine this and measure this. Let's get a little more. This is crazy.
Okay. So, the bestseller chart, also known as bestsellers in stores and best-selling pop singles in stores, is considered the true guide to a song's popularity until the creation of Hot 100 in 1958.
It seems like they get bored and make more charts. It's
They're
like somebody
more advertising
somebody makes
space.
cassettes, they make
Yep.
a chart. It seems like there's a solution or there's a new chart for every gadget that's created. There's a jukebox, there's a chart. They got this FM radio, they make a chart. So there's something to buy into at every turn. TikTok, there's a chart. If something gains enough power, acquisitionally, Billboards comes in and makes a chart for it.
That's wild.
All advertising space to make it easier for the consumer to find music. Oh, this is what's trending. This is what's popular. Because everyone wants to do what's trending, what's popular. So Billboard
And it's all bought
added
and
in on
sold.
it. Yeah.
So when people ask me though, say why do me and Melissa steer clear of, that's the music industry. When we're talking about the music industry, we're talking about buying products that are misleading, buying products that are dishonest to our fans to make us look more popular, cheating to win.
Money.
Buying products to trick your fans into believing that you're more talented than you are. Tricking your fans and deceiving your fans into believing that you deserve to be rewarded, that you've done some type of work, that you deserve to be put in a newspaper.
When we all know in order to be in that newspaper, you have to pay for it.
When we all know to have a story in the newspaper, you have to buy a column. We all know that.
You see it here. The buying space on Billboard dated all the way back in 1913.
And and another thing, I mean, we live in a modern day society where I'm not sure you can survive without a Wi-Fi signal. And yet internet's not free here. You can't fill out a job. We'll drive past a homeless guy, burn rubber on him. And we'll flip him the bird lying in a pile of plastic, even though homeless people can't manufacture plastic. But you can't fill out a job application without having a good Wi-Fi signal. That's all I'm saying.
They don't do paper apps anymore.
And we live in a time now when at least you need the internet to make a doctor's appointment. Mm-hmm. At least you need the internet, to make a mental health appointment. The internet has gone past a utility or a luxury. It's a necessity.
Mm-hmm.
But even though it's a necessity in this country, it's not free.
Water's not even free.
Yeah.
But it's necessary for you to live, You can't live. People would say, if I said, hey, man, the average guy don't got the internet, most people would feel that's unnecessary for somebody to live like that. You don't have access to education. You don't have access to email. It seems so unnecessary in today's world, Wow, Lexi, that's mind-blowing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's crazy what people have to do.
I'm going to go and just talk about
space.
some of the gadgets real quick.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about some of the gadgets that have charted. Any of these gadgets, some of you may know of them, but this is for just general information for folks who don't know. So the first place that you could store music was the phonograph, and it was invented in 1877 by Thomas Edison.
What is a phonograph?
No, this is a machine with a horn on top of it, like you had.
Like how they did the vinyl record?
Kind of, yeah. I think you had to crank it up.
You might have had to crank it up. I don't know. Maybe somebody can say so in the comments. But you might have had to crank it up. It wasn't solar powered. That was for sure. Well, it's like Like, so by way of like trying to figure out how to get to quantum computing in all of this, right? We have been trying our whole lives to have digital computing. And the way that we found digital computing is through analog computing. Even though we live in a very analog reality, in order to get better analog products, we went the way of becoming digital. But the way of quantum computing is to figure out how to do this through analog again. Because, like, digital computers are just ones and zeros, ins and outs, this and that, him and her, black and white, up and down. They're just these sorts of triggers. Whereas something that is analog, like right here on the planet Earth, it's all over you place. It's atmospheric. Yeah. 10 years after the invention of the phonograph came the gramophone. All right? And that was a device that was able to play songs recorded on records. Yeah. The distribution of records and record players had skyrocketed in the 30s and 40s with the creation of the record player. We have one somewhere around here. 1954 brought the portable transistor radio.
That's cool.
Things started to get interesting then. Why? Because music became portable. That's the first time you could bring music with you.
That's so cool.
Like, it's so normal now, you know?
Right.
I mean? But you could never take music with you before. In order for you to experience music, you had to go to a hall. You had to go to an amphitheater. You had to go to... I just think that's great. That's why I read to you in the beginning, and I'll read it again afterwards. Because Lexi was like, what? But I'm going to say it again afterwards, and maybe it'll sink. In 1963, a company called Philips invented the cassette tape and player. This is my favorite time.
That's so
Cassettes.
I didn't know Philips made the cassette.
Yeah.
That's so
That's
cool.
wild, yeah.
I
So-
always thought it was Sony.
But by the way of the way that they're learning about quantum computing now is through magnetic tape.
Huh.
So we started off analog to unlock digital, only to discover that in order to continue to create digital things, we have a problem with heat. But analog things don't have a problem with heat the same way digital things do. Digital frequencies fragment differently than analog frequencies. So by way of analog, if we can just harness the way, if we can kind of adjust the way that we've done analog computing, we'll actually unlock a higher plane of computing. And you know where we can see examples of this is in the early computers of ancient man. The big gear systems and stuff that we dug up and we don't know what it is. The boombox, the ghetto blaster, was an invention also by Philips and was created so people would have their music on the go, but they were still able to play it loud and proud. That was my time, baby. I definitely had me a ghetto blaster. Compact CDs were released in 1982. The Discman was really popular, skipped a lot, but it was invented by Sony, where you could finally put the CD in a Walkman-like structure, but you had to carry it like this. Like even if you moved a little bit, it was like, so you had to like put it down on the desk and then like had a long wire, you know. But if you held it and danced with it, you were fucked.
You'd be scratching your
But like Walkmans were like that too, because things are spinning, you know. So like if you like tried to do like a breakdancing move or you tried to whip around a lot, I mean there was like centrifugal force and gravity that would interrupt the components of these machines.
So you couldn't break dance the Walkman?
Not unless it was in the center of gravity. And I mean that literally. With the invention of the CD came the Discman, and then there was the MP3 player, or otherwise known as the music stealer machine.
Music stealer
Music
machine?
stealer.
Well, yeah, so MP3s were the one device that nobody agreed to have them. Because at the time, when MP3s came out, it was illegal to steal music. And the only place where you could put stolen shit was on your MP3 player.
So why did they...
MP3 players were only
Gotcha.
made as devices to pirate music.
Gotcha.
That's why they were eliminated.
Gotcha. They had a short life.
But you know who got rid of them?
Apple.
Billboards. Because you can't track them.
Because it's
Well,
stolen.
Because it's stolen. Piracy was bad for everybody. It wasn't just bad for musicians. It was also bad for the music industry.
Right.
I'll prove it.
Right.
Piracy was so bad for the music industry, it made Spotify. Piracy was so fucking bad, Spotify was the answer to it. The only reason Spotify's a thing is because we were so tired of people stealing. So Spotify was like, we'll steal a little less. And everyone was like, fine. We'll just rape a little softer.
Oh my god.
We'll at least give you a courtesy spit.
No, but that's what it's all about. This particular information is widely available for anybody. Anybody can look up the stuff I'm talking about. This particular stuff I'm talking about is just wildly, popular in public for anybody to. That's why, MP3s also don't sound good. So, modern day devices aren't made for shitty music. Like your cell phone is a higher tier than, what I'm saying? You wouldn't want to play an MP3 on your cell phone. Would they have better? They have much higher quality music that's played on your cell phone now than they did 15 years ago on your MP3 player. 15 years ago, we didn't mind shitty music. 20 years ago, we didn't mind bad mixes. We all didn't have Dre beats. We all had our, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all grew up with our mother's stereo systems. We all grew up with stereo systems from the 70s and 80s. And they didn't, you know what I mean? We didn't have Dolby Atmos, Dolby surround sound, digital high definition, 24-bit wave. We didn't have all of that. So we also didn't have gadgets that played it.
Right.
So the MP3 was really short-lived because it wasn't very good. It wasn't a great quality. They weren't great players. So the quality of the music wasn't good. The players weren't good, which is why when MP3s were around, CDs were still very popular.
Yep.
And people would go, man, I'm not listening to MP3. I'd much rather a CD player. Like I'm sure Melissa, MP3s were very popular in your crowd during your time in Demograph, but I'm guessing that many of you still had CD folders and CD books.
I sure did. Absolutely.
And that's because that was a time when people had realized that 24-bit quality audio was the top of the line. CDs. We have yet to really match that.
I still used CD players, and I had a car with a CD player in it and everything.
And only recently have we done better than that. Only recently have we changed the gadgets again. We'll get to that. So in 2001, came out the iPod, and it changed the way people listen to music forever because of the industry standard. Apple set a new standard of quality in music. It had to be CD quality. Remember? Apple came out with many different versions of the iPod, but between the years 2002 and 2004, the iPod came with touch-sensitive controls. By 2007, Apple gave us the iPad Touch. It's the first of its kind with a touch-based screen device. After after the popularity of the iPod Touch, people started to stream music via apps and websites like Spotify, Apple, iHeart, you know, and you know, Pandora and all these folks that came out during that time. But prior to like Spotify, especially for like independent artists, the only thing there really was like MySpace and Reverb Nation. Remember, there really wasn't nothing. You know, I mean, at the time there wasn't a way for really independent artists to distribute their music. You know, we didn't become interested in Spotify until we didn't even know what it was until 2018. Because I mean, up until that point, everyone was stealing music. So when you talk about, you know, when we come on here and talk about Spotify ripping off artists and stealing, people don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Because Spotify was the solution to people stealing. But here's the funny part. Would you know that Napster pays almost 3 times the amount? Napster pays almost 3 times the amount that Spotify pays per royalty. This information is wildly public. So, anybody that's interested in
It's because Metallica sued him.
yeah, but even with all that, now they're flying straight and they pay more than Spotify does. So you know what I mean? With all the controversy surrounding Napster, it certainly didn't get rid of them. And they're paying artists more than most digital service providers. I'm not going to be mad at nobody for cleaning up their act and doing better. What we talk about here is people doing worse. That's what we're always talking about. Thank you, Lexi. Again, inventors of inventions are people that need to convince the general public that they need one thing or another. Yeah. Now let's see if Lexi can tap in now.
Okay.
Recordings by definition are samples of synthetic reproductions in presentations that otherwise mimic real-life human beings that have the ability to reproduce a live experience over and over again without the need of artificial forces.
The ability to play their recordings.
So the thing is, we always talk about that none of these gadgets, none of these companies are going to make you a musician. They're not going to make you a nice guy. They're not going to make you a great guitar player. Being on the billboards doesn't mean you can sing any better. That's my point. It's all these devices, all this stuff is to talk you out of being a musician and loving it. It's all about trying to trick you into believing you're not good enough, into believing that you've spent your whole life as an artist investing in yourself, investing in your career, and you can never quite make it because they'll always make another chart.
So that's why Sepsis doesn't listen to the charts. You don't participate in the charts.
All of our other rock and roll buddies are all running around chasing charts and chasing.
Chasing.
You just you're a lot of the, and it's completely fine. That is part of being in the music industry.
Is chasing.
Is buying and selling products that cater to the departments of the music industry. And those departments are changing overnight because the music industry is on the internet.
And the internet changes overnight.
They used to change like radio, jukebox, CD. Now they change like ticka-taka, snappa, wicka-wacka, overnighta. They pop up and pop down, whatever they need to do. When they need a new chart system, they just make one. When they need a new group of people, they just make it up.
Wow.
When they need new clients, when they need new dreamy entertainers to go out there and point and click. They just make a new fucking chart. The musicians that wanted to be on jukeboxes, they just made them a chart. The musicians that wanted to be in magazines, they made them a chart. Danny Wimmer has a chart. TikTok has a chart. We have the Swarmy charts. Everybody's got a fucking chart.
We can get on the chart.
And to develop an inside group
is to develop an outside group.
And to develop an outside group,
you need more money.
You need more money. I say you're not in the music industry. In order to be all these guys, are you kidding me? These guys who practice guitar, singing their whole lives, all they've ever wanted is somebody to tell them they're in the music industry. Please, Will, just tell me I'm in the music industry.
They want a chart to do that for them.
But they need the chart to tell them that they're in the music industry, because since they were little kids, all they've ever watched is these other guys that they've immortalized in the music industries. They're in the charts. They're on the jukeboxes. They're on the gadgets. I'm not a musician. I'm not a real, authentic guitar player unless I'm on the shelf at Walmart, sitting next to Pantera. I'm not a real artist. I really haven't paid my dues unless I'm opening up for Three Doors Down of a Puddle of Nickel Creed. These guys, they are. If you're not, so I had somebody today. They asked me. They go, should I open up for somebody? I said, when's the last time you seen somebody open up for a celebrity and then wake up the next morning with 20,000 followers and more ticket sales? When's the last time an independent rock and roll band opened up for anyone and got more fans? It's unfucking heard of. Why would you get fans? Why would you go open up for Slipknot and hope that you get fans? They went there for Slipknot!
They're Slipknot's fans.
They're Slipknot's fans! Why would you admit to wanting to actually take a shortcut to finding the fans of your dream? Why would you want to take a shortcut finding the authentic fans of your dream? I don't want to pay for something like that. The new music industry is not making music. It's purchasing the products that make you look like you're successful. That's the music industry. The music industry is an industry of tools and advertisements to make you look like you're successful to the dumbest people on the planet. I've never, with all due respect to all my buddies, they play the South by Southwest, the Blue Ridge stuff. They do all the big festivals. And I look at their Facebooks and I look at their fucking YouTubes. Think of all the bands that play the Danny Wimmer shows and the Blue Ridge shows. I look at them in the morning. We're not going to the show. We look at them in the morning. We go and look at their Spotify. They don't improve.
Not even a bump.
Nope, not even a bump. People go open up for big bands. And there's fucking people like me that are looking at your fucking website the next morning. No hits. Some of my friends, they open up for Gojira. They go to Blue Ridge Rock Festival and they play in front of 30,000 people. And I look at their YouTube in the morning. They ain't got 10 more subscribers.
Not even one.
I look at people that they pay for Spotify playlist packages. They got 250,000 monthly listeners. And they ain't got 20 people in the audience at their last show. How come independent bands don't show the people at their shows?
Because there's no one there.
Because there's no one there. You got 20,000 people listening to your music and nobody buys tickets?
That doesn't make any sense.
Hmm.
There's no reason.
And I'm not making fun of nobody. I fucking feel terrible that you're in this cycle, this relay, where people need to be authenticated and identified by these products. And there's no observable measurement of success. You know, if you went and played a Danny Wimmer show or something like that, and then the next like the next show, like the next morning you woke up and you had 500 followers or something.
That's a success.
Yeah, that's fucking killing it. Yeah.
You go.
But there's people like me that nerd out on this shit. I go and look at all if you've ever played there, I look at you. And I nerd out on all the bands. All the bands that are ignoring us, the bands that ignore us the most are the ones we watch all fucking day. So any band that decides to even ignore us a little bit, oh, I'm on you now. I'm studying everything you do. When these bands go and play Blue Ridge, when these bands go and play South by West, from little bands to big bands, we study the fucking shit out of them. We go and look, late night. I don't care if you're a band out there and you're smaller than us, mid-tier, or doing better than we are. Know for sure. For sure. We are studying your live performances. When you hit a fucking wrong note, we're going to be there. And the reason why we're doing that is because we want to understand psychologically what would drive a person across the country to open up for a complete stranger and get nothing for it. It's literally for the sake of business we want to know. Not because of them. We want to know what the fuck those supervisors have offered you.
What's the catch?
What's the catch? So, we watch everybody's live performances. You know, if you play Louder Than Life, we're waiting the next morning to see you drop. And we're waiting to see you drop the song when it starts and when it ends. I don't want to see a snippet. Do like we do. Put the whole song up.
They don't.
You don't see it.
They only do snippets for their TikTok.
It's because the worst companies have encouraged people to cheat, Zach. You know, so, and I could tell you where I think this is harmful, because I think it's harmful to people that invest themselves and practice their whole lives to be authentic. I think that, I love wrestling. You know, WWE, you know, that the fake wrestling stuff?
Yeah.
They grab each other and they pretend to hurt each other and stuff like that. It's athletic. They dress up. They do a good show of it. But there's nurses there. You know what I mean? It's a dance. It's a show. People's body parts are inflated. You know what I mean? People's egos are buffed up. And everybody in the audience plays along. Like the Easter Bunny. But everybody knows it's not real. Most of the intelligent little kids in the audience kind of know that it's kind of hokey. Even, you know what I mean? And that's the music industry. It's like WWF. It's like fake beefing. It's fake beef. You go in there, you pretend like you got an attitude, you can pretend like you can hang, and then you put on a show. And everything's kind of buffed up, and everything's kind of predictable, and everything's kind of scripted. That's the music industry. You know? Because everybody knows getting punched in the face really hurts. That's the independent music industry.
So real wrestling.
Real fighting. Real playing. Getting on stage and playing and working your ass off and showing your work. And promoting yourself and advertising yourself and investing in yourself and getting along with bands and looking people in the eye and making deals and coming clean and drawing straight lines. Family to family, town to town, venue to venue businesses. So yeah, you know, and you know, so when people ask me, you know, should my band open up for a big band? Don't listen to me. You know, if you want to be in the music industry, don't listen to anything on this podcast. Because to be in the music industry, you're going to need to mimic, sympathize, and posture. You're gonna have to match and mirror the behaviors that they're looking for in the industry, and this isn't it. Talking about what happens backstage isn't it. Sticking up for yourself is not something that's acceptable or that's promoted in the rock and roll or even underground rock and roll industry. I've never seen anybody play any of these festivals and sell more tickets. I've never seen anybody open up for a celebrity or a big band and come home the following night somehow acquisitioning 10,000 of that band's fans.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
Like if you open up for Suicide Silence, it's not like you go home, because bands will tell you. I'll say, why are you doing that? Why'd you pay $1,000 to go open up for Gojira? And they will say to me, exposure. And I'll say, okay, well, how many people were in the venue? There were 10,000 people. What's 10% of 10,000? 100. Do you got 100 more followers? No. So you didn't retain 10% over your return of investment? But I bet you the next thing you're going to tell me is the music industry is a business, right? You're going to tell me that being in a band is a business and all that hokey shit, and really you're trying to get exposure so you can, broaden your market. You can do business with these people. Is it about business? Because if it's about business, how can you invest yourself and not make ROI? I have never seen any of my closest friends in rock and roll open up for their favorite artist. I have never seen them come home and look at their YouTube the next morning and have a bunch of plays. So what exposure are you getting? Who went to Blue Ridge this year? Or who went to Louder Than Life? Or who went to South by Southwest and came home with 10,000 fans? Who the fuck went to Metal in the Mountains and all of a sudden went gold? So if you've played Blue Ridge 5 times, you should be way bigger than Independent Sepsis, who isn't allowed in the music industry. Shouldn't people in the music industry be bigger than us? Shouldn't bands at our size that play these big festivals, shouldn't they be more successful than we are? How come they're not? How come bands that have 250,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, they don't have more happy birthdays than me? It's my birthday yesterday. That's how I know.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, everybody. To be honest with you, I never thought I was going to get that many happy birthdays. I'm so shocked.
You got a lot of happy
Wow.
birthdays. Your phone was off the hook all day yesterday. Ba-ding, ba-ding, ba-ding.
Yo, we can't sell music, but we can sell some birthdays.
It's funny, I didn't message you yesterday because you preface it with, I hate birthdays.
I do.
So I was like, well, I'm not going to wish him a happy birthday then. He's going to hate me.
I only do that. I'm only bluffing. All I'm saying is I ain't never seen nobody open up for 3 Doors Down from a Puddle of Nickel Cream and then all of a sudden wake up the next morning and get more plays on their SoundCloud. And rock and roll artists never, ever, ever boast their numbers on YouTube and iTunes. They never do. You never hear independent rock and roll artists be like, yo, man, I just got fucking 10,000 on YouTube. Never. You never fucking see it. Just like you never see live performances on social media from when the 4 count starts on the song to the end of the song. Trust me, we are the biggest social media. We're not even a band. We're a social media company. The thing is like we've been on social media for so long. We study bands so much because we know bands don't want to study us. So what we do is, because they won't study us, we go, fucking A. Every time that they remind us that they won't study us, we go, oh shit, that's a reminder for us to study them. And so we study all the bands, especially at our level. It's funny to watch them scurry around. They don't put up live performances. They won't do it.
Not full ones.
I know, and it's heartbreaking.
They won't do 1, 2, 3, 4. Start the song, play it, and finish it. Why not? How come you never see How come you never see live performances from start to finish on social media?
They're too embarrassed.
A lot of bad notes. Well,
Well, we all hit bad notes, but that's what I'm saying. And the point I'm trying to make the big point is not to pick on people. The point I'm trying to make is we all hit bad notes, bro. But some of us are pretending that we don't.
Mm.
See how I did that?
That's why they have backtracks.
Right. Some of us are pretending. Some of us are pretending that we don't hit bad notes. And I'm trying to tell everybody it's okay to hit a bad note. You're just living in a world where the industry has convinced you that you need to be perfect. Why don't you just be cool, man? Why don't you just be yourself?
Have fun.
Sometimes hitting the bad notes, like when I'm watching a live performance and someone hit a bad note, like I love that. It shows some realism.
Yeah, I love jazz too.
This guy's quick. What else we got? Everyone's like, fuck you, Will.
There's a whole bunch.
The next revolutionary devices are omnidirectional, and music will be more immersive than ever. With AI, spatial audio, Dolby Atmos is on the rise. Producers and artists better catch up, and I mean it. Y'all better catch up now, because the modern next-level audio devices and experiences are here. Everyone that is an artist or a producer, cry. Because I started off telling y'all that this started off with the megaphone or something like that, or the gamma phone or something. And then we went to the disc maker and the mini disc and the MP3 and the ABC and the 123. And I told you that TikTok is now partnered up with Billboard because they have their own chart system. And just when you thought it was over, just when you thought you had it all figured out, just when you thought that you had 8 tracks and vinyl and cassettes and MP3 players and mini discs and laser discs and Blu-ray discs and piracy and LimeWire, just when you thought you had it all figured out, just when you thought that William was going to stop torturing you, there is yet another new device that just came out. Music has changed again this week. Spatial audio is here.
What's spatial audio?
It's the next thing that we're listening to music on, and you heard it right here first. Yep. All of you who think that you've mastered the music industry and you've got it all figured out, and now you're going to be the shit on Spotify and all that's been figured out. There is another new jukebox. There's another new Walkman. As of this year, we no longer listen to music the same way that we will ever again. And I'm telling you that now. So just like I told people everyone's going to have a cell phone, just like I said there'd be a computer in every home, just like I told you that video games would be free, just as I told you that people would steal music and defend it, we're here. We have another new device. Music now is omnidirectional. With spatial audio, the new devices, you don't listen to music where a speaker plays a sound and shoots at you anymore. Now music will be around you.
Like in your own little bubble?
Yes. Music. So the next devices, and the cool thing about these devices is they link together through AI. So let's say you own these systems in each of your rooms in your home. They will link together, calibrate, and adjust for the entire environment. You feel what I'm saying? So if you were to put one of these gadgets in front of you and listen to it, it wouldn't sound right. You have to put it in a bookshelf. You have to put it underneath the bed. You have to put it in the environment. And then it uses AI to calculate and measure the environment and then redistributes the music around you.
My Bose soundbar does that.
I'm sure that that's probably...
Yeah.
So my question with that is, so there's
Is the
4 of us here. If we were to put that speaker, let's say, up on the doorway right there, we would each have a different listening experience?
Well, we'd always have a different listening experience because we have different ears.
But I mean, like the bubble that you're talking about, that it sets up with the blueprint of the room.
Well, I mean...
Would that mean each person has like their own little...
I think you would no matter what, because being taller or shorter... But you would like, you're not like when you see red. We don't know if we're seeing the same red.
So it'd be different regardless.
Right.
Of this
You say this
technology.
tastes sweet, but so you could eat this and I say, oh, man, this is sweet, but my sweet could be salty, and we just don't know the difference.
Okay, so just be different regardless. Okay.
Well, like in my car, I can set the listening position to driver only or car
fucking
wide.
right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think Apple did it first. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Dolby Atmos is on Apple first.
Yes, it's on Apple Music.
Okay. So if anybody's familiar with Dolby Atmos, that Atmos that they're referring to is atmospheric.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of cool shit. You guys should look into it. It's called spatial audio. So I just would like you guys later on to come to me maybe in a year or two from now and be like, holy fucking shit, Will, I remember when you were talking about spatial audio and now it's everywhere. That's all I ask y'all. Don't pretend.
You didn't hear it here
Right.
first.
Fucking,
Nerds. We love you, Swarmies.
yeah, man.
Different way.
So let's see here.
A different way.
You got something?
I'm just going by what's next after that is a different way to think about music.
Oh, Zach, you want to read some of these? These are good.
Hell yeah. So, a different way to think about music marketing. Music marketing intimidates many indie musicians. We don't want to feel salesy, spammy, or like we're yelling at people. Fortunately, there is a way to share your music authentically while being considerate of others.
I feel like that's talking about me.
I definitely can relate to that.
Hashtag relatable.
That's funny. Ed texts me. He's like, spatial audio. Is that like when you're hot shit or?
Boy, if only. So how to market your music a different way. Derek Sivers, founder of CD Baby and multi-book author, presents a very interesting way of approaching music marketing. In his book, Your Music and People, he offers very thoughtful, considerate, and authentic ways indie musicians can share music with people. It's specific enough that it has concrete steps you can take, but general enough that it's timeless advice. A couple of examples of, you can get creative. Sharing something you made, you're excited about, it's an extension of your art. So if you're really proud of your music, you'll put time into being creative with your marketing. Spend as much time cooking up ways to share your songs as you did creating them. So I know like Reels is a big thing, or like TikTok videos people use music for,
Games,
yeah.
contests.
Yeah, I was gonna say a little stuff like that. Another example is to be considerate. Being considerate in your marketing means you think about what people actually want. You don't want to spam them or yell at them.
But yeah, don't do the William. Because I'm gonna spam you and yell at you.
Right?
Hey, at least you're honest enough to admit it. Most people will just do it in secret and pretend
Right.
they're not going to get caught.
It's true.
Yeah, make it easy. Make it easy for people to notice you, relate to you, remember you, and tell their friends about you. And another suggestion would be thinking of people. The phrase, "it's all about who you know," is actually true. Could you do everything yourself and then blow up on social media? Yes, but the chances are slim. What's more likely is that you build relationships with people who then help you succeed. Just be a good person. Think about how you help others. It's the right thing to do. Karma may actually be real.
Is that like in terms of like talking to the demographic?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know,
In
like...
general.
Yeah,
Okay.
like, you know, if you're not going to be friends with someone if you're like, hey, check out my song, and they're like, no, fuck you, your band sucks. Well, you're not going to want to be friends with them. No, you're going to want to make friends with people who are actually going to support you and be like, oh, you know what, yeah, that's sick. Or somebody who's like, oh, yeah, I really like that. Hey, I also do, like, I do video stuff. Can we do collaborations and stuff? Or
It's a nice way of saying, I think, to not make it all about you, and that sharing your music is only part of it. You have to share a piece of yourself, you know, and you have to share your interest in what other people have going on in their lives. If you really want people to pay attention to you, I think that's a nice way of saying make some room to care about what other people got. This is one of the reasons why Sepsis supports people.
right, because it's not just about us.
It would be so fucking boring if there was nobody other bands to play with.
Right.
Is that why they're saying in 2023 and 2024 collaborations are like the way to go?
This is the year of the
business to
collab.
business.
And you know what's crazy? I don't want to spend too much time on it. But this is definitely the year of the collaboration. And it's going to be amazing to see how many bands and artists ignore this. If you are smart and you want to collaborate with this band this year, if you want to tour with us or play with us or make music with us, we're ready to do that this year. This is the year that we're collaborating with people. You know, this is the year. If there was any year to collaborate with us, 24 and 25 is the year to get with Sepsis and do that. And if you don't want to do it with this band, find a band that fits. Because this is I'm telling you, bands that link up are getting rid of middlemen.
Right.
We're sharing resources. We're sharing fan bases. This isn't like opening up for people.
Right.
Like I was talking about earlier, this is sharing.
This is
fan
sharing.
bases. You know, like when we do the Swarmy Fest thing, that is a way for us to invite people into our home and for us to share something that we think that has been successful for us, you know, with others. So this is a good, you know, I think more people should try. Swarmy Fest is a collaboration.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And speaking of advertising, don't forget, tickets for Swarmy Fest are still on sale.
Yeah, they are. But that was good. Do you have any more? If you have any more,
I
that's
sure
good.
do. Keep a database. Create a spreadsheet, then store information on every single person in the music industry you eat. You should... we recommend...
I wrote this. I'm just kidding.
It's funny because as I'm reading them, I'm like,
Yeah, didn't
Will's
Will-
definitely sent me something like this before.
I love that.
You should be tracking things like their names, contact information, their location, any tags so you can find the right people like songwriter, publisher, manager, etc., etc.
People come on this program and they say that this program's not. They say this is not accurate or helpful.
Exhibit A.
I feel like when we read and we remind people that we didn't make it up, they're more apt to listen to it.
Right?
Like for real, like when we first started this program, I would write a lot of stuff, and it would be original, and I would tell people and educate people, and I would say, you know, I made that up, and people would go, I fucking hate that. And then I started saying somebody else that I never met before made it up, and people were all like, that's right, Will. Psychology's fucking crazy, bro. You don't want nobody with a fucking bug tattooed on his face telling you about the music industry, you know what I mean?
Music industry.
This is what I'm going to say. A lot of people that want to be in the music industry don't realize why I know so much about the industry. And that's because I don't have to be in it. I'm not, you see what I'm saying? Like if I was in it, I'd be distracted and under fear and under fire. I mean, hit with shit all the time.
Stress.
I'd be
Right.
ready. I'd be worried about who am I going to make mad.
Are you gonna chart today?
Right, holy fuck, they're going to take the fucking charts away from me.
I can't say that or Spotify will be mad at me.
Right. Somebody said that to me a couple weeks ago.
What?
They did. They said, you better not say that, Will, about Spotify. And I said, or what?
They're going to beat you up.
Right? No.
Like they know where you
No,
live.
so
Right.
I tagged them. I did. I I go.
You tagged Spotify.
I did, and I said, I didn't say anything bad about Spotify. I reposted and reported their quarterly reports that are relinquished by the corporation themselves. And I said, and there ain't nothing that Spotify can fucking do about it. We live in such a time where artists are they're fucking so under hypnotism that they believe the Spotify monster is going to kick their rock and roll ass unless they do what they're told.
They're going to kick down the door and
right, like, if I sit here and badmouth I'm serious. These guys are under such a spell. They want to be in the rock and roll industry so fucking bad. They want to be a part of these fucking clubs. They want to be a part of the industry. They want to be authenticated as musicians so bad that playing the guitar can't do it. Singing fucking music is not good enough for musicians anymore.
They have to watch what they say.
You better watch what you say.
Forever.
Right. Fuck around. No, seriously. Fuck around.
You're not allowed to cuss.
Right.
Ever.
Musicians are so fearful on how they make their music that they literally go by the guidelines and standards of Spotify specs. Like if Spotify's like music under 3 minutes is the industry standards, then that's what everybody will do.
If it's a 3 minute and 1 second, you're fucked.
Dude, like
You done, kid.
no, and honestly, that is the same mentality that people had about cassettes and CDs. When music was on 8 tracks, okay? People like, holy shit, we got to make fucking 2-minute songs. Why? Because 8 tracks could only hold so much data. But when 90-minute cassettes came out, fuck it, we're doing prog rock. You feel what I'm saying? Because now you got an A side and a B side. You can play now. All of a sudden, people who would have made 2-minute songs on an 8-track can now make 7-minute songs on an LP. The record industry literally changes the way that you play. So if the radio station doesn't want to hear songs that are 4 minutes, it doesn't matter how good the song is, you're not going to hear 4-minute songs on the radio.
Bam.
It's the gadgets. So if Spotify and iTunes and the gadgets go, the music industry standard is Spotify likes music that's at this length, that's this loud, that's this genre.
So like shadow bans the rest that doesn't do it.
That's what I'm saying.
So radio station shadow ban.
Right. It's
Spotify shadow
If the
bans.
algorithm says most people on Spotify want to listen to music under 2 minutes, then the algorithm, Spotify, the business model caters to the people that want to listen to music under 2 minutes. And it also caters to the artists that write music under 2 minutes, bro.
Huh.
So no more intros, no more. It literally changes the creativity of the person that's writing it. Because if the writer goes, oh, wait a minute, if I write an intro, it's going to cut into my Spotify time. Fuck that.
Wow.
Oof.
So
How
we
stressful.
did it. We did an experiment with this. So our longest song, and one of our best songs on stage is Eyes of Empathy. Eyes of Empathy is, I don't know, like a 5-minute song. Mm-hmm. It's also our least played and worst played song on any streaming device.
Because it's 5 minutes?
Because it's 5 minutes long. So we had a bunch of different, all of our music kind of goes like this.
Yeah.
So we read the Spotify algorithm and we wrote a song to test the algorithm. And that song is You Already Know. So when you look at the song You Already Know, we wrote it in order to play with the algorithm. And it performs with the algorithm, dude.
Ah.
Go check it out.
That's incredible. I love
That's just what we did.
This
That's why we
is
don't
why
make
we're
music.
swarming. This is why.
But that was why. That's,
Genius like that.
so that's why me and Melissa wrote it. Like, that's why we wrote it when you go look at the time length it is. Go look at structurally. It goes ba na 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 ba na na, and then all of a sudden it starts the lyrics, like a pop song or like a rap song. It don't start like a rock song. It don't start like a sepsis song. It goes jingle 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 lyrics.
You guys are freaking awesome.
Because we was like, okay, well, what does Spotify like for music? And we were like, okay, so they like to start the lyrics within 16 seconds. We need to do this, okay? And we just wrote it.
You guys are freaking awesome.
Huh.
Uh-huh.
You guys are freaking
We wrote
awesome.
tempo. We picked the tempo. Everything is based on the algorithm.
Genius.
That's why you already know.
Fucking genius.
I'm trying to tell y'all something. I was just playing. It's having fun with music.
I love you guys.
But that's what it is. Like, it's just being creative and, like, challenging the business, you know?
Challenging Spotify. I love you guys.
You know? Thank you. But that's how we have fun with it. Yeah.
That's awesome. You guys are great.
I forgot where we're going. That was good. We're good. We're fine with it. Let's move.
You already know.
It's all good.
Right. Facts.
Streaming will come to an end. I thought like the last like reels were like ridiculously like overcharged. Like when we finally make the reels, I'm like, this isn't really me, you know? And like, you know what I mean? It's so. This program is not me. I think people watch this program and think that this is my personality. Like, for real. Like, they think that this is really me.
Are you guys reviewing our
Do
personalities?
they review it afterwards?
They do. I get some pretty cool stuff. I'm getting a lot more compliments from women. I'm serious. I get compliments from the fellas, too, though. Like, you know what I mean? Both,
That's
equally.
freaking cool, man.
Like, I know it's... Or like female podcast fans are coming in.
Oh, that's cool. Hi. That's awesome.
So that was good. Lexi, do you want to talk about this? I'm not doing any more. I'm not even going to say TikTok anymore. I'm just done with it. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
So
I will talk about Metallica and
Okay.
Kirk Hammett botching the Nothing Else Matters.
They botched it?
So there's this thing. So Kirk Hammett, Nothing Else Matters. And if anybody knows what matters to me, is that most guitar players at one point or another have played Nothing Else Matters. In fact, I think it was one of those songs that you'd get beaten up for in prison. Like if you started playing Nothing Else Matters, bong, 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 you get bong, bong, bong. You know what I mean? It wasn't a good thing. So, and it's like going into Guitar Center and playing Smoke on the Water. It's illegal. If you didn't know that. See the face? You don't want the smoke.
Why?
What? It's like playing Simple Man at Daddy's Junkie Music. You could get jumped. There's just some stuff we don't do in music. We'll talk about it after.
Okay.
It's not the music industry. It's all of music.
So it's a rule in
You're
music.
not allowed to play Smoke on the Water in any.
If you play Smoke on the Water in Guitar Center, you're liable to get your ass kicked.
Like the store workers might do.
Why? Why is that so
Children
bad?
will hit you. I mean, it's just the whole store, drumsticks.
It's just recommended that you don't do it.
Okay.
I wouldn't even recommend calling the police. They might let it go down.
They'll be like, he did what? Do you need a taser?
Like, excuse me, what's the disturbance? Some guy is playing Smoke on the Water, and they're beating the shit out of him. Oh.
Well, he probably deserved if he was playing Smoke on the Water.
It's that bad?
Oh, it's a
I
sin.
wouldn't even talk about it anymore.
Okay.
We're in
I
a
wanna get
dangerous
kicked out of
territory here.
Guitar Center. I need to go there tomorrow.
So Nothing Else matters. And I'll tell you what, nothing else will matter if you fuck it up. So don't ever play Nothing Else Matters in prison. Bong, 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 bong. So, as a rule, I've never played it. I've always been terrified to play bad Metallica riffs. One, because you don't want to fuck up a Metallica riff. And you don't want to fuck up a riff that you're already forbidden to play. You've already been warned. You know what I mean?
Right?
So here's the thing. Somebody calls me up and they're like, this is last year. And they're like, I need you to play a wedding. I need a guitar player for a wedding. I said, oh man, you know how I feel about weddings. I said, no, it's a good gig. It's just you and the guitar, you know. And I said, what's the music? You know, send me the music. He said, this is a special one. He goes, well, you're going to have to play the forbidden song. I said, excuse me. I said, you can't do this to me. He goes, so the guy is getting married to his wife and he doesn't know it. But his wife wants to buy him a gift. When they're coming down the aisle, you start playing Nothing Else Matters by Metallica. Just you acoustically in front of everybody. And I said, oh, Jesus Christ, why would you do something like that to me? I said, no, all you got to do, it's a quick thing. It's only a minute. All you got to do is the intro. I said, oh, my God, I don't know about that. I said, there's nobody else playing. There's no backtracks or no band. He said, no, it's just going to be you and the acoustic guitar. You know, and instead, you know, we've done some touring with Sepsis. We've opened up for some pretty cool bands. I've never been as nervous playing the guitar as I was playing eighth note, single note guitar picking. I mean, this shit, I was terrified. Because now it's like it's a wedding. It's Metallica. It's the song that you're not supposed to play. I think I practiced that Nothing Else Matters more than I've ever played Blacklight Invasion. I sat at the fucking table that whole week. Bong, 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 bong. I'm surprised you guys didn't beat me up in the office. Because I played it nonstop, remember?
Yeah.
And then I got it good. Like, I started getting, like, jazzy with it. And I started getting carried away with it. Like, adding my own parts.
Oh, did you now?
Yeah. But here's the thing, though. I did play it, and I survived it.
Yeah, you did a really good job.
I couldn't wait to get the fuck out of there. It was awful. My nerves were just like, ugh. I couldn't smoke weed.
Wow.
So I was like, oh my
That's
God.
how you know it's bad.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It was like everybody was dressed up. I was the only black guy there. It was weird.
Talk about being on the spot. Like, everyone was drop dead quiet.
And it was me.
All you could literally hear was just the electric guitar.
And it's fucking loud.
Nothing.
You know? And like these
Not even
people,
a pin drop.
you know, these people are fucking serious about this wedding thing. I mean, everyone's recording. They're going Facebook Live.
Yeah.
This is more people at this fucking wedding than comes to a Sepsis show. I was fucking terrified.
Huh.
I would have been great if I would have started shredding or something. I would have been all right, but it was just like
The forbidden
bung,
song.
bung, bung. I'm like, I've never played like so steadily in my life. I'm like, and I'm telling myself like, you better not hit a fucking, you better not.
Not on that song. Because
Right,
when you hit a
you
bad
better
note on that
not.
song, it resonates.
Oh, God.
It's the most awkward and uncomfortable thing.
Oh my God.
Ever.
They'll remember it forever.
Right,
don't they?
right, all right. Remember the guy with dreadlocks that
It's not-
fucked up the wedding?
It's not like jazz music where you hit a bad note and it's like, oh, whatever, he meant to do that. It's like,
Right. And it's like, I couldn't do a spin. You know, this isn't,
Right.
it's not like the lights are going. We're out there, it's broad daylight.
I imagine it was probably like spotlight on you. You're
Oh,
just you
man.
on stage, stool, you know,
Yeah, oh yeah. No, it's just me.
just like at a coffee house.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to take a gig like that ever again.
Oh, you didn't have a good time? None of that sounded appealing to you?
It was awesome when it was over. I like, everybody wanted to take a picture. I was like, not until it's over with.
Not right now.
Right.
Halt.
That was crazy. So everybody is mad at Kirk Hammett for botching the Nothing Else Matters thing. I don't know if you seen a couple years ago, he was out there bing bong beep bah, and he hit a bad one. And like, and he's such a great performer, and he just let it roll, dude. Like everybody in the audience was like, ah, you know, right? But because it's the song, like you can't do it, you know.
Right.
And we'll watch it after this. As soon
Okay.
as we get off, it is like, oh my God, because it's like it's his part, you know what I mean? It's like you better not screw this up. And it's like Blacklight. You know, you better not. Every time when that comes on, I'm shitting bricks. Just know now. No. Anybody sees me and I'm playing that part. It's a keyboard part, but I'm playing it on guitar. When that part comes on, I'm already like, I better hit. Like, just know I'm thinking that. I don't care how cool I look. Nobody's that cool, you know? So, and neither is Kirk Hammett. I mean, but I love this. I love this guy. And I know that everybody's like, oh man, he hit the bum note. And like the world descends on this guy on the internet, and it's like, he's fucking trash. He's awful. He's an awful player. And it's like, how could you say that? I'll tell you why he's not an awful player. Because he hit this bum note, and he just lets it roll. You know what I mean? I mean, people came at this fucking guy, and he just fucking let it roll. His face, like, he fucks it up, and everyone reacts, and his expression was just like, oh, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean?
He wrote it anyway.
I mean, you could tell
James Hetfield.
He didn't hide it. You know? He didn't try to fucking mask it up like some people will do a little swell or try to do a little lead or something. No. He fucking ate it, man, and he just let it roll. Rolled right off of him so well.
True musicianship.
Shout out to Kirk, man. So go check that out. So I guess it happened again, and now everyone's like, he's doing it on purpose.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, it's genius if
So
he is
do you guys
doing it on
think, put a
purpose.
one in the chat, do you think Kurt, now, do you think he botches the Nothing Else Matters thing because it's fun?
Oh,
Definitely.
yeah. I bet he's doing it on purpose now.
Because that's the big thing. They're like, because now I guess, like, there's been other sightings and recordings of him fucking it up. But what if it's like one of those things, though? Like, Melissa, remember there was that part in that one song that you had for a long time? I forgot which song it was. And, like, it just took you so long. I don't even want to mention it until you start remembering it. Maybe I should just move on. But she had, there was a part where, like, we just couldn't get it right. And at one point, it was like, we finally got it changed. And you changed it. And it was like, it was changed for good, you know? But it's one of those things, like, once you creep up to the part in the song, it happens to every musician. And you're creeping up to the part in your song, and you're like, I know it's the part with the upbeats. And you're like, and you know it, you're in this downbeat motion, you're like, you know when the upbeat's coming, you know? And you're like, I'm not gonna fuck it up. I'm not gonna fuck it up. You know, but you know it's coming. I do this. I'm not gonna tell you what part it is because I don't want nobody to make fun of me. But like, there's this one song that we do, and if I told you what song it is, you're gonna be like, you gotta be kidding me. To this day, it's one of our first songs, and I forget the lyrics in this song. Every now and then, I'll be on stage, and the music will come and nothing will hit. And I just forget the lyrics entirely. I don't know why it happens. But it's the sequence of things that happen, and every now and then. And I've forgotten the lyrics at times when I've started the sequence, and I'm like, I got the lyrics. That's the lyrics. I'm saying the lyrics. Here we go, coming around the bend. Here comes the lyrics, and all of a sudden I get to it, and oh fuck, I don't know the lyrics.
Oh shit.
Oof.
Oh my god, bro.
The thoughts
It's
start
so
coming
scary.
in.
And then panic. I mean, it's the worst feeling.
Everything breaks down.
Right, now I can't play guitar. Like, you know what I mean?
Do you
like,
even know
fuck,
the
what hell?
song?
Right, what am I doing? Right now.
Why are you on the stage?
Right, exactly.
Zach's on the other side laughing at me.
Right, everyone knows.
Why is everyone looking at me like that?
Right, you realize your fly's down or something. Not even that.
What, do I get
And
a
nothing
boogie?
else matters.
What's up with this friendship and anxiety thing? Can we do this?
Okay.
It's 9 o'clock. This will be the last one.
Alright. Friendships can cause bitter conflicts or disagreements just like romantic relationships can. As evidenced by over 1,000% spike of Google searches for friendship anxiety recently. This means that practically everyone is searching on Google for information about friendship anxiety. Friendship anxiety, for those of you that don't know what it is, because I didn't know what it is until reading this article. Friendship anxiety
I think you're getting it now.
is worries about your platonic relationships. This type of anxiety can manifest in different ways.
Does it manifest with people that are over 40?
I don't think so. It doesn't say anything about age.
No, it seems like a millennium type thing.
Such as second guessing whether your friends like you, wondering
They
if
don't.
your friends are angry at you,
They are.
or even fretting over whether you have enough friends.
You don't.
And what that says about you as a person.
You're a puke.
These anxious thoughts can lead you to take actions like constantly going over scenarios with your friends in your head, seeking reassurance like asking, "Are you mad at me right now?" or avoiding being with your friends to lessen the triggers.
I didn't have anxiety, but now I do.
There are there are many reasons why people may be experiencing friendship anxiety right now. Explained Abigail Lev, who is a psychotherapist and founder and director of the Bay Area CBT Center. Relationships were strained and some even ended during COVID lockdown, which can still be affecting people today. This only exasperated
Yeah, good job.
the loneliness epidemic in the United States, which was a social problem even before the pandemic.
Because we don't like each other.
Right.
That's always been. Human beings can't stand each other.
No, we can't. Dehumanization in the online dating scene with terms like ghosting and breadcrumbing, normalizing a lack of engagement with people you meet digitally.
Isn't that a song by After the Winter?
I think so, yeah.
Breadcrumbs.
These behaviors amplify concerns about friendships and underscore the importance of prioritizing them, says Lev. With the aforementioned problems and smartphone addiction, said Lev, many people may lack genuine in-person intimacy. These can all impact our relationships, including friendships. Gen Z, my generation, we are the kings and queens of ghosting people.
Oh.
We are the kings and queens of ghosting.
What does that mean? Like,
It's like the Irish goodbye, yeah.
So basically, someone sends you a message, and either you ignore it and just keep it on, you haven't seen the notification yet, or you read it and leave them on read and never respond to them until like weeks later. Sometimes never.
I'll see. I thought ghosting was when, like you meet somebody online, you're talking for a while, and then just slowly one person just kind of stops responding. Like,
that's ghosting.
Yeah, just like little by little until eventually they vanish.
Yeah, that's ghosting. That's also breadcrumbing too, because they're leaving breadcrumbs. So like, another thing is breadcrumbing.
That just sounds misleading. Yeah.
Which is where they'll say, "Hey, good morning" to you. You'll respond, and they'll never respond to you. And then like maybe a couple hours later, they'll say something, and then they'll never respond to you.
Oh,
maybe days later.
I'm guilty of that, but not because I do it on purpose. It's because I have a very short attention span.
Right.
Or like,
but these people do it on purpose sometimes. Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Fucking A. That's different.
No, like
I don't have any desire to do that. To me, that, and I'm not making fun of nobody. I actually don't want to do that to anyone.
I don't do it on purpose, but like a lot of times I get messages while I'm at work, so I'll go to try to respond, and then I get called away because a kid pissed in the hallway, and then I just kind of I forget.
I think I talk to people too much. I'm gonna start ghosting people. See, I think it's the opposite with me. I think I'm too available.
Well, you better not ghost me, because I'll summon your ass with a Ouija board.
No, you're in the...
Noted. Never ghost Zachy B. Ever.
Okay, that's good news. That means if I get hit by a bus, I'm coming back. You know what I mean?
But that also goes into what the the
psychopath. Let's hear it all up. The psychopath.
The psychotherapist says, which is how there's dehumanization. That's probably the main source of it, because there's a lot of people, because they're on their phones, they're scrolling on social media.
Because people are having
sex
with themselves and their phone.
it's so easy for them to ghost somebody, or it's so easy for them to leave breadcrumbs and not have like that in-person conversation. So when you get to being in person in conversation,
That's 'cause
it's like, wait, what? I can't ghost you. You're right in front of my face. Like, this is socially different.
Well,
In my
obviously
time, they had in-person hand jobs, and then after that, you're convinced. You don't need any. You know what I mean? You don't do any fantasy after that. You get it right then. Hands on.
See, here's the thing, though. You can ghost people in person. It's called the Irish goodbye.
What's that?
What's
It's when you just take off and don't say anything.
that? Jesus, I'm half Irish.
Yeah, it'd be like me just like getting up, walking to the other room, and instead of like, you know, you guys think like, oh, he's probably just going to the
I
bathroom.
come looking for you.
And then you hear my car start, and I'm just gone.
We get in the car and follow you. We really would. We said, where you going, man?
Yeah.
There's different friendship here. We don't experience friendship anxiety here, as you guys.
I was
can
gonna
clearly
say,
see.
No,
I
I have
think we have
anxiety
this
about
problem.
everything else. I have
We'll
anxiety
call
about
you.
everything but friendships.
We
We're not-
will blow up your phone
Yeah,
here
we
at
don't have a,
Sepsis.
we don't have a lack of intimacy at all.
There's more intimacy.
Right,
We'll
we
call you if you don't answer within 20 seconds. We'll blow up your phone. We'll call your work.
Right. You know, that's the thing. Like,
We don't ghost people.
we're trying to play with more bands.
Yeah.
They ghosted me.
Yeah, bands ghosts. This goes beyond the Gen
You guys gotta
Zers.
stop ghosting me out there. We gotta go. We gotta ghost.
We're gonna go ghost.
Going ghost.
Bye. Thank you for watching. Don't ghost your friends or
Buy
bands.
tickets to Swarmy Fest. What?
Buy
What was that?
tickets November
Ghost.
4th.
Link is in the description. Bye.
See y'all
Bye,
next week.
Swarmies. We love you.